Coming up on Guys Talking Sports, we talk about the NBA draft, which is going on right now as we speak. We talk about some of the surprises and the disappointments that happen on the draft. We also talk about what's going on with the NBA plans to possibly changing the playoff format. My guest host, Earl Ross, joins me now on Guys Talking Sports. What's going on, everybody? This is Guys Talking Sports. I'm your host, Al Qualls. I'd like to thank everybody for subscribing on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. And also, I want to say a quick hello to those people right now that are watching on Periscope. I got it set up on Twitter for you guys. So if y'all have any questions, or as we talk sports, of course, if you have any questions, feel free to show it on the screen, and I'll be happy to ask the questions. But for right now, I have a guest host with me, as always, the amazing Earl Ross. Earl, how you doing, man? How's everything going?
It's very good. It's talk time and always vino time.
Yeah, as well, as always. So we're just going to get started. Of course, we're talking about right now what's going on, and that is the NBA draft right now. As we all expected, Karl Anthony Towns was selected as #1 by the Minnesota Timberwolves. I guess my question to you would be, are there any surprises that you thought that immediately that just jumps out at you?
Well, not really the Lakers. I mean, they could have went for Jahlil Okafor, but they went with the point guard from Ohio State. So I'm thinking maybe they got an inside track with Aldridge or Love, or maybe even trying to go for a trade with DeMarcus Cousins. I know they got the 21st pick in the draft, so maybe they can try to package and bundle something up and send it down Sacramento's way. But I gotta get to the Knicks.
Yes. Please elaborate about the Knicks for me, if you would be able to.
Now, of course, the Sixers took Jahlil Okafor, so that kind of messed them up. Mm-hmm. But you're gonna go with the kid from Latvia. You had actually I thought it was going to go for Justin Winslow. They didn't go for him. I mean, you could have went with Willie Cauley-Stein, the center from Kentucky. You didn't go with him. You could have went from the point guard from China. You didn't go with him, but you went with a skinny power forward from Latvia. Reminds me of Darko Milicic, and coming from an old Detroit Pistons fan, it still hurts.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting to see them make that pick. Like you said, with the Lakers taking Russell at the #2, that was kind of shocking. I didn't think that was going to happen. I really thought that it was going to take Okafor. So I really thought that was going to be a lock pick right there. But they took Russell, and actually they flip-flopped with the Sixers and them getting actual Jahlil Okafor. So it'll be interesting to see how that works.
Yeah,
now,
I think.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the Sixers fans are pretty sure they get to work. They're all going to be very excited that they got Jahlil Okafor. But I think that with that setback with Embiid with that foot, I'm thinking they're probably might have to cut ties, and they went with Jahlil Okafor. If Embiid was good and healthy, they wouldn't have picked him.
No, I definitely agree with that. But like you said, what now it's set to what is it they're going to the Sixers are going to do with Embiid? Eventually, somewhere down the road, somebody's going to have to get traded. And to be honest, it's funny because during this talk today, the Sixers were talking about offering Nerlens Noel to try and move up or down on the draft or something like that, or they was trying to move actual Noel. So it kind of, it's interesting to see what they're going to do because they're loaded in the front court right now. So, but gotta get back to the Knicks. I gotta get back to the Knicks on their pick. It was interesting. I think the fans' reactions pretty much just set the tone at this point. It'd be interesting to see how they're going to use him. I'm very curious to see the impact that he brings to the Knicks organization. I'm not a Knicks fan, so that really doesn't. It's just going to be interesting to see how that fiasco plays because it's interesting enough when I was coming home, and I was hearing on the radio that there was people like the Sixers were actually looking to pick him, but there was some questions about his health, and whether or not his health, like maybe down the road there might be some injuries that they may not know about, and they didn't want to be in the same boat as they are with Embiid. So I think that's what scared off the Sixers, but it definitely didn't scare off the Knicks. And I'm sorry, but that kid's reaction to when they picked him was pretty much just set it off.
It was priceless. I mean, I don't know. Is deep down is Phil Jackson still working for the Lakers or what? I don't know. It's just it's like he has it out for the Knicks organization. But to be fair, I mean, the kid, he has a jumper. He's got to get a little more size, But they keep saying he's a project, in a couple of years, of being protector in the rim, low post player. But he has some, jumpers. And Phil Jackson over the years, even back when he was with Chicago and the Lakers, loves his Euro guys that can shoot. And if he can play well on that triangle offense, and I think the triangle offense will suit him well because he can just pop and shoot. We'll see within the next year or two how things transpire. But I mean, for right now, I mean, I know the Knicks were going for a big name splash. I mean, this is not the splash they were looking for. I'm scratching my head, but we'll have to wait and see.
But here's the interesting part. They already have someone in Andrea Brignani that does the similar things to what I would call him Zinger that he does. So it was kind of like it was definitely head scratching to see what it was that they was trying to do because you already have that in a center that you traded to get. So I'll put it like this: when I heard the name, I chuckled a little bit, but to see the fans' reactions was still priceless.
Yeah, I was laughing at the screen. I was thinking about Brock. I was like, I know he's gonna be hot, and he was. It just
Yes, the emoji that he put was just priceless.
look. I'm going like this. You know what? Maybe it's not Phil Jackson. Maybe it's just the curse of Dolan from owning the Knicks and the MSG. Period.
No, I'm really curious to see who actually made that pick. Like, was it really Phil Jackson that said, you know what, this is what this is who we're getting, or was it Dolan who may have, like he normally would say, no, this is the player I want.
Nah, man. It's probably Isaiah Thomas back in there messing around with Dolan.
Yes, I love to see a picture of Phil Jackson. You know how like they have like them pictures, them GIF pictures when they pull out the mask and it's actually Isaiah Thomas wearing a Jackson mask. That's how I see it.
I'd be like, we knew it.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this draft plays off, and it looks like it's really playing to what. I mean, other than the first couple of picks, everything else seems to be going the way that a lot of people predicted it to be. But there's been a lot of talk and I wanted to get your opinion on it. There's been a lot of talk of free agents opting out, of free agents leaving. It really is just going to be an interesting off season. You see a lot of people just like, you know what, I want a new contract.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of guys are being very economical with the way things are going out. I mean, the NBA when they signed that new deal with ESPN, and that's basically, tripling the money that's going to be going out. A lot of guys are waiting around for that NBA contract to renew. It's going to be a lot more money to go around. The NBA cap is going to be a lot higher. Teams have a lot more money. And you've seen people like LeBron James. Of course, he's going to make a killing, come around, next year when he can re-sign again. I mean, you have, Aldridge, you have names casing right now. Who just became a free agent? Love,
Yeah,
opted out. So I mean, you got a lot of guys out there. I mean, it's very economical.
yeah, very much so. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of players start just taking 1 year deals or 1 and 2 year deals. I think it would be beneficial for them from a player standpoint because they don't. You could see players now not locking themselves into longer term contracts anymore like they used to.
Yeah, and I think this is all a serendipitous side effect of the last NBA negotiation contracts where the players really gave up a lot. Now you're seeing that this new contract is coming in. they're really using the system that they have to kind of get more money. So of course, expect for the NBA owners to kind of do something about that.
Yeah, yes, and they will be doing something about it. It'd be interesting to see how they respond to it. More so than because it's a player-driven league, and the owners are going to get to the point where they say, "All right, enough is enough. We need to bring this back to where the owners, you know, are make, or at least are there in the conversation with everything that they're talking about as far as contracts and salaries are concerned."
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, you got a lot of guys who are going to be out there that's just for the take. Like I was saying, the Lakers picking, D'Angelo Russell from out of Ohio State. They could have went with Jahlil Okafor, but they went with a point guard. So I have to think they got Aldridge or at least Kevin Love somewhere on their radar. I think they're probably going to go after, LaMarcus Aldridge, who I like.
No, they should. I mean, to be honest, they should at this point. But they also need another big man, at least to be a rim protector, and I don't see them having that right now with any of the players that they have on the current roster. Um, quick question. Well, I have a quick what's your thoughts on this? The NBA is actually going to talk about what we was talking about before about the NBA playoffs and how everything is set up and how the East is always always weak against the Western Conference and things like that. Well, there actual now is talks where they're going to actually make it. They're eliminating the division, the actual division of the conference, and they're going to make it where the best teams with the best records get into the playoffs on a 1-16 format. I believe that's what they're working on right now. At least that's what I saw earlier this afternoon.
Oh man, I don't like that. But basically, I don't know. It's kind of trying to award the East for just having weak teams. Now, let's say you take it back 10 to 15 years ago, it was flip flop. The East had the more power hungry teams, and the West was still pretty running gun but no defense. And now you want to reward the weak conference by saying, okay, we're going to scrap East, we're going to scrap West, we're just going to just blend them all together.
At least that's from the playoff standpoint. At least that's what it looks like. That's what they're working on, so that the best teams with the best records get into the playoffs, no matter what division or no matter what conference that they're in.
You know what? NFL try, flirting with that idea as well. But I mean, saying that even though you might win your division, even if you're a 500 team, you shouldn't get into the playoffs, even host a home game in the playoffs. I mean, it's not their fault. I mean, you play who you play in your conference, and if everybody sucks in your conference, you just happen to be the least suckies of them all. It's not your fault.
That I agree with, but I would have to say that the play devil's advocate, it would be a much better playoffs at this point because let's be honest, like the East wasn't going to do anything this season or next season to be in competition with the teams like Chicago and Cleveland. And I'll even put in Washington and Atlanta in there. There no other teams in the Eastern Conference right now would be suited to actually be competition for them. And to be honest, I would rather see other teams get in to give them a good run. Like to be honest, any Western team that was 7 or 8 may have given Cleveland a good run for their money and could have possibly eliminated them from playoffs contention instead of just getting that easy ride to the finals.
Well, you know what? Do something what the NFL did a couple of years back. Just start flirting with realigning of the whole conferences altogether. Start pulling teams and mixing them up.
Yeah, but then again, you have to change the name of the conference. Like similar to the NHL. I don't think they have Eastern or Western Conference. I think they have names of the conferences. I'm not 100% sure, but if they could modify the conference, change the name of the conference, and do something like that. That would definitely be a great start to doing, changing it up, just changing it up to make it more easy. But it doesn't solve the problem with the teams, the weaker teams. You know what I'm saying? It just makes it I don't know. I think that's something that needs to be actually talked about more, if anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, it got watered down over a couple of years ago when you start bringing in new teams. I mean, you're pulling a lot of people all over the place, so you're going to have the league is going to be very top heavy. So parity is like is really high, and you're going to have the lower market teams that's not going to be able to pull the big names down because you have so many teams more than you had basically in the late 90s when you didn't have as much teams and you had a lot more people, a lot more good players, positioned on the same teams. Now is all spread out. So you got good players here, good players there, but it's not a collection of teams unless the players opt out for less money to play all together, which is what they're doing right now.
True. That is true. That is true. Uh, that's something I guess we'll talk more about later on down the road. But like I said, we wasn't gonna keep everybody long. We're just gonna keep this short because we want to continue watching the rest of the draft and then make our assessments there. I think Earl would love that to do that as well. To save it for next week, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, because I mean, you won't really know how things play out. I mean, free agency kicks off July 1st, which is going to be next week. So the real telltale sign how this draft is really going to end up with some people is going to be, I think, my opinion, after the free agency period really kicks in, which I think they need to adjust that and make free agency first and the draft second, like how they have it in the NFL.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But for right now, we're going to just end it and cut it here short here. I like to thank everybody for checking us out. That the normal subscribers. I really appreciate those people that are subscribing lately. I really do honor that, and I do appreciate it. For those who don't subscribe, who haven't subscribed, you can subscribe, which is on the lower right hand side. We're gonna change it up. I have to really create a new guys talking sports type channel because so many people come in asking questions that actually say you should make it a new channel. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's going to come during the summer. But for right now, I'd like to thank my guest host, Earl Ross, for joining me for a couple of minutes to talk about the NBA draft. Man, I really appreciate it, man.
Oh, no doubt, man. No doubt.
All right, for everybody else, oh, I'm sorry. For Earl, before I let you go, anything that you want to plug, where they can find you at, Twitter and all that.
I'm on Twitter, JEROS number seven. That's my handle on Twitter and on Facebook, the same thing. So I don't tweet as much, but I'm gonna start tweeting a little bit more now. So be on the lookout.
All right, and for you guys, thank you. You can always hit me up on Twitter as well. I am Al Qualls. You can see it right now on my screen. But for those that hit me up with comments and emails, I really do appreciate it. Continue to subscribe. Continue to like our videos. Continue to like everything about us as we bring more guys talking sports. Again, I'd like to thank y'all for checking us out. And until next time, take care.
Peace out.